Welcome to the Proper Cap, a Madcap Coffee podcast. We are joining you today from Eastern Kille on Wealthy Street in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with Josiah Gentry, the beverage director for Eastern Kille. And we are excited to get into another episode regarding cocktails, but we're gonna dig into some training things and education things and a little bit different spin on things. But we are tasting some things this morning. Josiah Gentry here is the odd one out with coffee, but Josiah, what are Josiah?
I would say you're the odd one out, being the only Trevor on this podcast.
Oh, I think we should probably address the elephant in the room with the two Josiahs before we do anything else.
This is a very special podcast. I've been waiting a very, very long time for.
Trevor is presented with the unique opportunity of being in the same room as two Josiahs at once.
It's quite special, actually.
You know, we were discussing who should be in the middle, and now I'm realizing I probably should have been like the thorn between two Josiahs.
That's true.
That actually could work. We'll have to do a part 2, I guess, eventually. Or you could just go off screen too, and this could just be the Josiah show.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so you just want me to leave. That's fine. At least I have a cocktail.
So I just heard you say, Josiah, describe what we're drinking, and I'm genuinely unsure which Josiah you were talking.
Both of you.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Josiah.
All right. I'll take it from here, Josiah. So what Josiah Gentry is drinking is a coffee from Madcap, Luz Marie Galinda's. This is a at this point, new-ish to Madcap. It's been on the menu for a few weeks now, but it's a pink bourbon variety from Colombia. Super exciting, very like bright, juicy pink lemonade. We've gotten a little burst of like warmer weather here in Michigan, and it's just like a really delightful coffee to go with it. So we're shooting an early podcast for a bartender, and I was like, he needs caffeine.
Yeah, for sure. He knows me well.
Yeah.
I'm a night walker, so 9:30 a.m. roll call.
Brutal. When Trevor said that was the time, I was like,
he said anytime before 2:00, so I picked the night.
Which I'm just glad. Thank you for doing it on our schedule and not.
Of course.
Hey, how about 3 a.m. after close?
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh man,
this is great, and thank you for the delicious cuppa. What are you guys drinking? So, Trevor, I decided to give him some alcohol at 9:30 in the morning. So, but I went pretty easy on him. This is one of our new fall cocktails. It is called the Apple Butter Milk Punch. It's a aged rum that's washed with brown butter, and it has our apple floppin, which is a spiced apple liqueur, little lemon and cinnamon syrup, and then we milk wash that whole cocktail to give it clarity and a nice silky texture. It's one of my favorite fall drinks that we do here. It's just really easy going. Tastes like apple juice.
It's delicious. Yeah. You wouldn't necessarily know that you're drinking a cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
I think after your first sip, you said it tastes like fall, which describing everything that goes into it, I'm like, oh my word.
Yeah.
Turn the fire on. Let's go.
Right. And the milk wash, we've been messing with that on the coffee side a lot lately.
Yeah. Yes. I've had your what's the Julius?
Yeah, the
one?
Julius Winfield.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
So tasty. Very creative.
So do you batch everything and then milk wash it?
Yep.
Okay.
All as one big cocktail.
Amazing.
Yeah. It turned out really great. I love that one.
Yeah, no, it's all, and I mean, part of the value in doing the milk wash is the impact on mouthfeel.
Yeah,
bit,
absolutely.
Right? Yeah,
it's a nice silky texture.
The clarity, obviously, but yeah, the mouthfeel. Well, and there's brown butter in it too. That's it's great.
I'm really jealous. Like one of the hardest things with coffee drinks is getting clear, like clarity.
Yeah,
I mean, taking a brown liquid and making it clear. So like seeing that, I'm like, it is stunning. And I wish, you could distill coffee.
After hearing everything that's in it, you're like,
it looks like you're drinking ice water over there.
That's one of the cool experiences of a milk wash cocktail too, is like, sometimes I'll put a drink like this down in front of someone. They're like, whoa, that looks strong. Like I made a joke with Trevor off camera that this was just straight gin that I was giving him at 10:30.
It might be.
Yeah, people just see this pour over a big ice cube and they're like, oh man, this is gonna mess me up.
Yeah, but there's a dried apple on it.
Yeah. And then you taste it and you're like, wow, that's juicy and refreshing and doesn't taste anything like what I was expecting, which is a great experience for, from A to B, just like actually having that cocktail. And
yeah, that's
anyways.
Cool. What am I drinking?
Josiah, you are drinking a nice little non-alcoholic beverage. I was nice to you today.
Thank you.
It is our non-alcoholic bitter peel Amaro. So it's basically like our house Campari, but non-alcoholic. some nice like juniper and gentian in there, so it kind of functions equally as a gin as it does an amaro.
Jeez.
And a little touch of strawberry cordial, some lime, and soda water. Nice, easy going spritz.
It's nice.
That sounds.
I might share it
Okay.
if you want to try it.
I would be interested.
It's
in
very
trying it.
refreshing. And what I like too, because non-alcoholic cocktails can overcompensate in areas sometimes.
Yeah.
Where it's like too much soda water or like it's too sweet. And this is just like perfectly balanced. Like
Great.
It's awesome.
Cool. I'm glad you like it. It's hard to get bitter components in non-alcoholic beverages sometimes. So that's kind of why we made that for the tasting rooms.
I love it.
Gives us more opportunity. So
I know. I feel like you guys do a lot of cool stuff for the tasting rooms, and I feel like over the years I've been like, Josiah, when are you gonna like bottle that tomorrow? Like, I want that at home or whatever. And that's cool though. It's cool to give customers who come in the shop that experience.
Yeah,
to be able to,
it gives them a reason to come through the door and like kind of see how we're using our spirits, and gives us more opportunity to be creative.
Totally.
It's one of the unique parts of working at a distillery is like versus working at a standard bar where you can just order whatever product you want. At a distillery, you're like, oh, do I want Luxardo? Do I want Campari? I'm gonna have to figure out how to make my own, and it's challenging, but like probably truly my favorite part of the job. It's great.
Yeah. And that's for like legal reasons, right? Like you have to make what you serve, sort of a thing. As a distillery.
Correct. Anything that contains alcohol as a manufacturer, you can't serve unless it's produced in house.
Wow.
So yeah,
I mean, it showcases your guys' creativity and what you're able to pull off and like replicate of common, like you said, it's like Campari. It's like, it's crazy.
It's fun. There's definitely like a element of having to educate the customer a little bit, because people will come in and, you know, they'll order a classic cocktail and it doesn't taste exactly like what they're used to. Sometimes that's like a really cool thing that you can offer a customer. But at times it can be challenging because they're like, this isn't how I make them at home. And it's like, well, there's nothing I can do to help you there. But I hope that you'll, you know, open your mind and try our version. And if you don't like it, we'll get you something else.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
I wanted to start off because I've known you for a few years now, and you're one of like the most humble people that I know. So you wouldn't say this ever on this podcast. So I want to start off with some award nominations, some accolades, both for you and for this place that we're sitting in. And then this is to kind of tee up. I want to hear a little bit about you and your story. Like how long have you been here and what brought you here, sort of a thing.
Cool.
But I think my date was right. 2023 or 2024, you were nominated for Bartender of the Year. Was that last year?
Actually, the last 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The internet is a dark place.
Yes.
So Bartender of the Year, multi-time nominee. And then Eastern Kille, when you look at the awards that Eastern Kille's liquor has won, there's a slew. It's like you guys' rye whiskey, your American dry gin, your rum, your coffee liqueur, I know I'm missing a few, but there's 2-time silver medalists, platinum medals, gold medals for a whole slew of different awards across the country. It's incredible. Like
it's
what
pretty
you guys
cool.
are doing.
I'm pretty lucky to work for a crew that knows what they're doing and has like a massive passion for the craft. The spirits are awesome.
Well, and what's clearly happening is like you're a very talented individual working at a space who's doing some incredible things too. And so like the combination of things coming out of this place is pretty wild. And so I just wanted to start off with that to kind of set the tone of like, this dude is legit. And
that's
like
really kind. I appreciate that.
He's doing
So
some
listen.
stuff.
Listen.
Yeah, you better be nice.
Yeah, be kind. But you've been here for a little bit of time, but you weren't born in Eastern Kille. So you've had some experience under your belt.
Right.
Like how long have you been in this industry and what kind of brought you here?
So I started in the hospitality industry when I was 16 as a dishwasher in a neighborhood diner. And I was just thinking about that recently. I feel like that job, more than anything else, like set the framework for what I do today, because not necessarily the dishwasher aspect. I mean, that definitely I learned a lot of character, trust me. But like at that job, I stayed there for entirely too long. And I got to get into management and I got to get into front of house a little bit, and working in a neighborhood diner is probably the closest thing that you can get to working in a neighborhood bar. So, kind of taught me the value of getting to know your customers and understanding that you're not just there to, you know, fill them up and give them what they're paying for. Like they're also there for part of the experience. So like learning the value of learning their names and anything about them and being able to make conversation, it's just so important. And in a neighborhood bar, it's everything. Like that kind of makes or breaks the success of an establishment like what we have here in this little uptown neighborhood near Heritage Hill, like tucked between Heritage Hill and Cherry Hill. It's really, really cool and unique. And we see regulars all the time. And it's like going to work just to give your friends drinks every day. It couldn't get any better. So yeah, I started there at a diner, and then following that, I went and bartended at the Winchester back in, I think that was 2015 I started. Got into some management there as well. Then while I was at Winchester, I started working at Gray Skies, which is now Eastern Kille. That was about 8.5 years ago.
Wow.
And I worked there part-time just so I mean, more than anything else, I just wanted to learn more about the craft. Not that Winchester wasn't doing the craft, that we were doing some really fun cocktails, but it was cool to be in an environment where we were making everything ourselves and like learning all the things from scratch. And that was really like transformational for me in my career. All of this in tandem, I was also in the music industry, so I was traveling a lot. So the flexibility of the restaurant industry was huge for me back then. And then I settled into bartending because I found that it scratched a lot of the itches that I really needed out of a career. And, you know, the money was good. I enjoyed every element of the job. And then I went to Muskegon and helped open a distillery out there. Briefly took a hiatus from Eastern Kille during COVID. And then when I came back from that job in 2021, I was here full time, and I've been full time with them ever since.
Nice. Yeah. Just stepped into the beverage director role,
yeah.
correct?
Yep. So I've been the bar manager at our Wealthy Street location since we opened 3 years ago. And then I was offered this position maybe 2 months ago into the beverage director role. So that's been really exciting, and a lot of new challenges and creative problem solving and all that. It's been really, really great.
Yeah. I like that your story starts as a dishwasher at a local diner. Like there's something so special about that, but clearly like there's things like you were talking about, there's things that you learned as a 16-year-old in that sort of environment that you're now applying to this different role that you're in just a couple years later.
Yeah. I'm actually only 18.
Well, I think so many people wouldn't necessarily reference, I mean, most people have those first jobs like that, and they wouldn't necessarily reference how it's impacted what they do now necessarily. Or you don't hear it that often. So that is, respect.
Thank you.
For that, for sure.
It's important to know where you came from.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
What, you go.
Well, so for people listening that aren't from the area, just describing more about what Eastern Kille encompasses, because you briefly mentioned it used to be Gray Skies, so it was something else. There's 2 locations now where the distillery is located, which also has like a restaurant component and stuff to it. So, but just describing for the listeners what holistically is Eastern Kille, what does it look like as a distillery?
Yeah. So we're a craft, like small batch distillery, primarily focused on aged spirits. We've been around, I mean, I don't want to get the dates wrong. It was like 2014, I think, is when the company was established. Maybe 2015. I could be completely wrong. But I know that like our oldest whiskey's got to be around 7 to 9 years. They started out with like our barrel finished gin and an apple brandy to kind of get the wheels turning. But one thing that makes them especially unique compared to most other small batch distilleries you see popping up nowadays is they have been grained to glass for all of their aged spirits and gin and all of that. A lot of distilleries, like you'll see a new distillery pop up and they're immediately serving a 10-year bourbon. And not a lot of people ask the question why, but they're sourcing that product. They didn't make it. It's a white label product that they have slapped a label on. which, no disrespect, like you have, it's so expensive to start a distillery and wait 2+ years before you can serve this any like majority of your product. It's insanely expensive. But the owners, Steve and Brandon, have been really committed to doing grain to glass and doing it the right way, and they want to have that pride in their product. So it's been so cool, like working at the distillery when we released our bourbon, 2-3 years after the fact of opening our doors, was a really cool experience. And then like being there when we put out our first 4-year bottled and bond bourbon, like just all these exciting milestones that a lot of other distilleries who source their product don't actually get to like truly celebrate, because they're kind of living or working, operating behind this veil of like, this is our product. But a lot of other distilleries do it in a cool way where they're like extremely transparent about sourcing. And I have so much respect for that as well. And I get however people want to do their startups, but holistically and just like from the concept, it's one of the things I appreciate the most about Eastern Kille is their grain to glass approach. They can have true pride in almost, like in all the liquor that we're putting out. And I think that's really, really admirable. We also, we make gin. We have vodka and an agave spirit, a handful of rums, several liqueurs now. We have our first Amaro on the market, our Fernet. And then we have a Genepi, which is kind of like a chartreuse. We have a very, very vast catalog. It's actually pretty wild to like look at the lineup of bottles and be like, this is all coming from, from now Rockford, Michigan. We open in Grand Rapids, but it's really cool.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Potentially dumb question, but thinking about aged spirits, is there like an incredible inventory where it's just like at one point there's going to be a 20-year-old whiskey, or is it just kind of like you're distilling and then like sitting on it, and then you kind of like cycle through and it's like, here's this age, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not a stupid question at all. There's kind of a combination of that going on. Like obviously you have to meet demand. You can't have your product dry up if you're trying to get your bourbon popular and it sells faster than you expect it to. Sometimes you have to tap into a barrel before you'd maybe like to. I do know that they're setting aside barrels to be able to do 10-year releases, that kind of thing. And if I know my bosses well enough, they probably are going to like just stash away a barrel or two that they won't tell anyone about and
Something
put
wild.
out something 20 years.
100-year-old barrel.
Yeah, their kids will have to release it for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so there's a combination. Now all of the bourbon that we put out into retail has a 4-year age statement on it, which is really, really awesome. Another huge milestone for us this year because, you sell X amount, you have to start dumping barrels. And I'm sure that's like kind of soul crushing when you're like, this was going to be 4 years and 2 months, but now we can't put that label on it or, whatever. But long answer. But
honestly, kudos to you guys for having that integrity to be like, no, this was 3 years and 10 months. Doesn't get the label.
Yeah.
I can imagine that would be a inventory, not nightmare, but like setting that logistics up. From kind of what you're saying, to establish a business like that would be pretty, you have to think about the long term and like pretty tricky. So that's cool.
Definitely.
Well, and just briefly, because I know you described Josiah DeBoer's NA cocktail there. So you all are producing that as well for your tasting rooms, at least for those drinks, right? How recent is that you've been doing some of the NAs, Amaros and stuff?
The NA Amaro currently we just serve at our Wealthy Street location, which I do anticipate will spread that out among other locations as we expand. But yeah, recent in maybe the last, I think since January. Oh, wow. I think I developed that because January, obviously, if you don't have a good mocktail program, you're going to get forgotten about for the whole month, and your bartenders are going to be big sad. So we put together a few different new products and mocktail list, and that's when that one got created.
Does that kind of seem like a part of the menu that there was more demand for too, like beyond January? It seems like it's become popular to like, I'm not drinking for forever, or
you're just saying that because you don't drink anymore.
Yes, no. The cool kids aren't drinking anymore.
Right? Yeah,
you heard it here first.
No, absolutely, there is. The market is changing so rapidly. Newer generations coming into age of like legal drinking are trending downward as far as alcohol consumption, which is awesome. I always want to support people doing what's right for health and longevity. And so it's been a unique experience the last couple of years, like adapting to that and understanding that we do have to offer a robust mocktail program to you know, keep people coming in the door. But the big thing for me too is, I mean, I want people to always feel comfortable and welcome here. And the worst thing imaginable for me is if all their friends are going out and they don't consume alcohol, and they have to come out and sit there and drink water and watch their friends get to enjoy all these experiences, you know, culinary and all the taste and everything, and they can't participate. Like, that bums me out. So that's something that I think that we'll never lose touch of. Like, it's all about, you know, people feeling comfortable and welcome and offering something for everybody.
Cool.
I feel like that's a good segue to start talking about just like training and you all's approach to training, because I think it's important to highlight, and as someone, you know, traveling with Josiah a lot for work, and, you know, when we're going to cocktail bars, like we have a lot of conversations around like, oh, this is a really well executed NA cocktail. And so it's not any easier to do it well so that that individual can have the same experience that everyone else is having. So there's a lot of work and effort that should go into it if you're not just pouring a bunch of juice over some sparkling water and putting a garnish on top, right? So
yeah, other bartenders will have to weigh in on this, but for me, mocktails are immensely harder. Really? It's a bigger challenge, and I think part of that is like, in cocktails, you're always leaning on complementing your base spirit, and you also have that as like something to fill the volume of the glass. Is there's going to be alcohol, so that's automatically, you know, 2 ounces of your drink that are just missing, and you have to replace that with something. Otherwise, you are literally just putting juice and soda water and sugar in someone's glass and asking them to pay way too much money for it. So like, if there's not intentionality behind it, it's, what are you doing? It's pointless.
Yeah, like what you're talking about, like as I hear you talking about it, I am hearing like years of experience. Like, you've made a ton of cocktails and you've tasted, and you've obviously established a palate for how to find balance in something. How do you go about like teaching someone new to that? Or is it like you just need some time like behind bar and just drink as many things as you can? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what does palate development look like for a bartender or a mixologist?
Right. Well, ideally, we just wait for the baristas to leave Madcap and come right for us. No, I'm just kidding.
Also,
baristas do, for the record, make fantastic bartenders, and I will say I don't think that is reversible. I don't think bartenders make fantastic baristas. There's a lot to be expected of them.
Just need a good training program.
Yeah. No, but to answer your question, I think foundationally, it's all about learning the classics. You you learn everything about balance from the classics. It's like, people have been consuming these things for so many years, and our palates have adjusted to that level of expectation as far as the balance of like sweet to acid to spirit, etc. And that's always going to change and shift slightly. Like, I mean, if you look at classic cocktail recipes from 100 years ago, sometimes I'll read those recipes and I just am so confused. Like, why would anyone ever drink that? Even like a classic Manhattan recipe, I don't care how good your vermouth is, like a 2-to-1 ratio it's too much vermouth. I want to taste it. I want to taste the rye whiskey. So yeah, I think, but yeah, learning your classics and kind of learning your palate based on that is a great place to start. You learn your formulas, and from there, you hear the term like Mr. Potato Head or Potato Head quite a bit, where it's like you're just swapping out components from your classic formulas.
That's funny.
It's a great way to learn how to make cocktails as a beginner. Okay. So like learning the Daisy or learning the old fashioned cocktail, and then from there being like, oh, what would this taste like with a barrel finished gin and an old fashioned, switching that out, and then, you know, let's mess with our sweetener and see what complements my spirit now, etc. That's typically like, if most bartenders you talk to, that's kind of loosely the answer I think you'll get to that question. And then for us, it's just also different because the things that people have to work with are varying in sweetness levels and varying, it's not exactly like what you're used to. Anyways.
Sure.
Yeah. So it is a lot of just tasting and, oh no, I don't like that. Oh, I need just a touch more of this, and going from there and building.
Interesting.
A lot of wasted alcohol
Sure.
in those experiences.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I think people look at, like, when we do coffee tastings or palate development sessions, or even just every morning dialing in, they view the amount of coffee that we use and dump as waste too. But it's like, I mean, if you're using it for educational purposes and you're building a palate or an understanding around the product, like, that's an investment. It's not a waste.
For sure.
It's
I should reframe that vocabulary, actually.
But
that's a good perspective to have on it. Absolutely.
Like, it
took us a while to get there.
Yeah. So. Yeah, fair enough.
Very valuable.
Yeah.
Continuing to lean in on the training piece, because I think not just for the sake of talking about training, but I think as something that sets Eastern Kille apart a bit is like the talent of your bartenders, and not just from an execution perspective, but also hospitality and everything else. So I know, like, one of the questions that Josiah wanted to sort of address was just, before you get to that point of training, like, what are you looking for? You joked about the baristas making good bartenders, and I don't want to go down those rabbit holes, but I think, because someone was asking me the other day, it was a bartender actually, like, oh, do you like people who have experience coming in? Or I'm like, kind of no. Because, and I don't know if bartending's the same way. I mean, with coffee and then the way that Madcap does things, sometimes it's just easier to start from scratch than to, like, have to train what we feel are bad habits, or just, like, people with a lot of experience oftentimes think they know how a thing should be done. And regardless of, it's not necessarily right or wrong, but we have a way that we want it done. So, like, what does that look like for Eastern Kille? Like, what is it that you're looking for, and then how you onboard those individuals onto your team?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't want to take credit in saying that, like, that's been as intentional as it might seem. Like, we've really just lucked out with amazing bartenders. Sometimes you just have to roll the dice on a person based on the vibe you get from them. But for me, I'm typically looking for someone who, when they come in for an interview, they make me feel comfortable being around them, conversating, etc. Because, I mean, I would say more than half the job is just customer interaction. So if someone feels comfortable in a not so comfortable situation and they're able to put other people at ease, I think that's massive. But yeah, from, like, a skills background perspective, I think I would prefer someone with no experience, or, like, dive bar experience, who's trying to get into craft cocktails, over someone who's like, I've been a mixologist for 10 years and I can't wait to show you everything I have to offer your team. I think there's value in that as well, because you also do have to have an open mind of, like, maybe we can learn something together. But if they don't strike me as the type of person who in an interview process is eager to learn more despite their background, then I'm not typically going to have a big interest in hiring that person.
Well, and it's a big difference coming to a distillery's bar tasting room, because they have to sort of pivot in terms of, like, they have, finding, well, look, no, we don't have Beefeater, but we have this, and sort of, like, making those translations, which I'm assuming in some ways maybe is harder depending on the bartender or the individual.
I'm sure,
to make that transition.
Yeah, definitely. It's been really cool to watch, though. Like, the people that we do have on the team go from, like, no background in making ingredients, like only working at places where their ingredients are provided for them, to watch them kind of, like, blossom and, like, show their creativity off. Like, one of my bartenders, who's been a great friend of mine for 26 years. I'm still only 18 though.
That math checks. That checks out.
he just developed an absolutely phenomenal amaretto liqueur. And it's like one of the first things that he's put together from scratch, and it's so many layers of flavor, and it's phenomenal. It's really, really cool to watch someone go from no experience and, like, in some cases no interest, to being in the environment, being surrounded by that creativity, and like expanding into taking an interest and also like doing such an amazing job at it. It's really fun.
Yeah. That's
What
awesome.
does that process look like? Because you start as a bartender. Let's say you start here. Obviously, you're learning your guys' classics and like learning the menu and how to make those and care for the customers, learn the regulars and all that. But you guys, you were just talking about how you're flipping the menu tonight, and like you guys, that's from the bartenders, right? Like you guys as a team kind of like come up with the drinks. Like how do you get from start to finish? Like what does that story arc look like for that bartender who's like, I'm ready to like try my creativity at this, you know?
Yeah. That's a good question. Challenging. It's different for everybody.
Well, yeah, it's okay if there's not like this is how it looks.
Yeah. I think okay, so I'll use an example. I'll use two examples. So one of our bartenders that we brought in, he came from like, worked at a fried chicken place with a bar, and then he worked at a duck pin bowling place with a bar. But in tandem with all of that, he wanted to get into bartending in the first place at these places because he loved cocktails. And it's very interesting. Like that's where you're gonna work in pursuit of learning, but like also mad respect because he developed a unique foundation to bring into this establishment. And he's the guy who put together the amaretto. So it's like really cool to watch that growth of like, I don't know, this style of bartending isn't anything better than bartending at the fried chicken place, right? It's different. It's like people calling themselves a mixologist. Like, no, dude, you're still just a bartender. So that's a great example. Like that story of just like coming into it, super zealous, loves craft cocktails. That guy has a catalog of craft cocktails that far exceeds my own. And, I oftentimes will ask him like, hey, someone wants this drink. I think I know what's in it, but can you remember the ratios? He spouts them off right away. Wow. It's so cool.
That's cool.
But then like we have another bartender here who's just absolutely amazing with people, comes from a server background, picked up the craft really quickly. She works our like happy hours a couple days a week here. She told me when she first started, she was like, the idea of putting my own cocktails on the menu, just so you know, is like absolutely terrifying, and I'm never going to do it. I was like, okay, respect. Thank you for being upfront. That's great. But then like a couple weeks ago, she was like talking to me about, I think like doing a fat wash with like goat cheese and gin would be really cool, and mixing it with fig. And I'm like, never going to put a cocktail on the menu, huh? Like it sure sounds like we're warming up for something here. So yeah, I think like just immersing yourself in the environment, like it's kind of unavoidable.
I was going to say, it sounds like exposure therapy where it's like, this thing is scary. And then you see other people do it. You're like, wait, that's kind of cool.
I want some of that. I want a slice. Like it's so fun to just be creative and like put together an experience for people and watch people take their first sip. We have a drink from one of our bartenders, Keegan, called the Yev Kasem. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. When I tried it the first time, I was blown away. Like it was phenomenal. But we put it on the menu and I didn't think it was going to sell because it's just one of those niche drinks where I was like, yeah, we'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. We serve a lot of service industry people here, which they really like unique flavors. So it actually popped off. It's been on the menu for like 2 years now. It's a mirepoix fat wash gin. So mirepoix being carrot, onion, celery. We saute that in olive oil and then fat wash our dry gin with the oil. And then it has a salt simple syrup. So it's just this like very, very salty bomb and lemon juice. And it's crazy. Like, I don't know how we came up with it. It's mind blowing to me when I think about that. But it's like become a staple here. I don't think we can ever take it off the menu now.
It's delicious. I still remember the first time seeing it on the menu immediately. It was like, yeah, I got to try that.
Yeah.
That's got you right. Like savory
cocktail.
Low sweetness.
Right. And it's one of those cocktails that, I mean, you remember first seeing it on the menu and being like, what the heck? I'm sure you also remember your first sip of it. It's like anyone who tries it, whether they like it or not, they're going to tell you, I've never had anything like this.
Yeah.
And like, it's just what a cool opportunity to give people that experience and watch their eyes like light up or do whatever they're going to do when they have their first sip of a drink like that. It's really, really unique and special.
Well, and it's cool that he went out on a, like he tried something out that was like maybe a little weird, and then he presented it and you're like, this is good, might not do well, let's try it, and then it pops off and becomes a staple. Like I think that's cool to create a culture where people are willing to like take a risk like that, and then create a space to be like, we're gonna give it a shot. Like you put a lot of work into this, it's really tasty, let's see what happens. And worst case scenario, you pull it after a week. Best case scenario, it's
menu
2 years
reprint,
later.
not a big deal.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, to your point, like it says a lot about the space you've created here, and you're creating an environment that is inspiring creativity in people, even when they say, well, they're not going to be a participant in that. But I think it's important too to call out. I mean, you are taking a risk in putting it on the menu in terms of customer buy-in, but you're still putting it on the menu because you all stand behind it. And the first time you had it, we're like, yeah, I've never had anything like it. It's amazing. So it's not like you're just throwing stuff on the menu and seeing what happens, right? I mean, I think we do similar things where we put seasonal drinks on the menu and we do all this R&D and we jump through all the hoops and they don't sell very well. And it happens, you know, sometimes you miss in terms of like, because I think there's that separation of like your focus and inputs as a professional and then where your customers are at. And a drink like that is one of those that like, you know, for whatever reason, people are at least willing to try it. And so you're able to push the boundaries in a way that if you weren't willing to take those risks, you know, you wouldn't have those experiences, and you get buy-in from your guests because of it. Right.
Yeah. And how else do you get to know your clientele and what the market is demanding for if you're not trying things and taking risks? So I mean, that's part of the process for sure. And I feel like this is also a great opportunity to call out the neighborhood that we're in on our Wealthy Street location. Like it doesn't matter what the description is of that drink, our people are here for it and they're always excited to try what we're working on. And like we just recently onboarded a new bartender. And I remember she came up with her first drink just kind of on a whim, just playing around. She wanted to make like a pineapple upside down cake inspired cocktail. Whoa. She made one for us and we were all like, what? You just did that? Like you've never used any of our spirits? Like amazing. We were all blown away. And we're like, this is going on the menu, next reprint. So we put it on maybe a week later and she was like, I can't believe how many people are ordering my drink. And we're like, yeah, it's amazing. And then since then we put on other drinks and she's like, oh my gosh, your customers just actually will order anything new. Like it doesn't matter. They just love all of it. And they don't love all of it. They will try all of it. You know what I mean? Like it's really, really so fun. And we're like so fortunate and so appreciative of the neighborhood that we get to be a part of here.
Have they always been like that? Like, cause it sounds like Eastern Kille can't miss sort of a thing. And I've experienced it and it's like, yeah, what you guys are doing is very special, but like, has it always been like that? Or is that something that you guys had to like earn? Like, obviously you're new to this space-ish, couple years, but like you've been in the city for a while. In the earlier days, was it a little bit harder to like get people to try stuff, or were people just really curious from the get-go? Like, is Grand Rapids just a very curious city?
Well, I don't know.
The burgers and fries would say.
Yeah, right. No shade. I think
there are good burgers and fries, by the way.
Yes, there certainly are.
True. But yeah,
I think that it was helpful to us coming into this location, just coming from a couple miles away, because there was a lot of customer-based transplant that was still super excited to hype us up. Cool. That said, I would certainly say our menu has had the opportunity to become significantly more experimental in the last 3 years since we opened. Cool. So I think there's a good combination.
So you kind of, you could like test the waters, like, ooh, they're interested. And then you keep kind of like giving the people what they want, sort of a thing.
We've always had the weird drinks, but we've not always seen the numbers of the weird drinks selling and being as high in our product mix as they are now. I guess that's probably a better way to answer your question.
That's cool.
It's like people are definitely more excited to come in and try it.
Yeah.
Than they were at the beginning.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I kind of have like a two-parter question. The first part is, when you travel or go elsewhere and you're visiting cocktail bars, like what are the things that excite you when you visit those spaces and experience those experiences? And then the second part is, how do you bring those back to your spaces and like apply them or inundate your team with that sort of idea and culture?
Totally. Well, one thing's something that we can't like directly bring back with us, but for me, I am always most heavily impacted by the environment of a cocktail bar. And I think that like going to big cities and going into cocktail bars is a whole different experience than going to cocktail bars in Grand Rapids. Again, no shade, but to the people of Grand Rapids, if you're listening, like go experience the cocktail bars in big cities. Go to Detroit, go to Chicago. It will blow your mind, the types of environments that these people have curated. Just the way it makes you feel the moment you walk in the door, to the way that the hospitality is, like how the staff treats you. It all kind of like it comes together to make a really, really unique and unforgettable experience. So yeah, design, environment, lighting, sound, all of that is huge for me personally. And I actually think that that's like one of the things I really love about this space. I remember when we first opened, working here was like, I had definitely imposter syndrome, because I was like, this feels like a big city bar. Like we're doing it. And I remember like the first weekend night that we opened, we had like this light fixture that would not dim. It wasn't designed to do it. And we were trying to tell it to do it. It wouldn't do it. And so it was like crazy bright and very unfortunate. But then like 10 o'clock hits, we had decided we were going to be a late night bar that was going to be like, all of our focus was just like making a vibe for people to go and have somewhere to hang out late night, because we don't have enough of that here. So at 10 o'clock, we just did like an abrupt flip the light off, turn on some really aggressive hip hop, and the whole room lit up in applause, because it was like a pretty sweet transition. But yeah, so like vibe, environment, like I think that impacts how the customers interact with the space too. Like if you are feeling like you've just been teleported to another world, your inhibitions are going to be looser, alcohol or not. Like you feel like you're not in your normal, comfortable space, and you maybe are going to be a little bit more excitable. And like, I don't know. I think that that's huge. But as far as like things that can come back, I'm always looking at like how people are using their spirits, how people are manipulating their spirits to work for a cocktail. I think that's huge in what we're doing, just from like a culinary perspective. So it's really, really important to go to these other bars for us as bartenders to see like, you know, I mean, people washing their gin with goat cheese. Like
that's crazy.
Wild. Like, why are you, what does that taste like? I have to know, you know?
Yeah.
So that's like a huge source of inspiration, is just like seeing other people doing the thing and getting the ideas. And then you can bring that back and you can alter the idea or the inspiration, or it's kind of like, oh, well, if they can cheese wash with that cheese, I really love this cheese and I always wanted to put it in a cocktail. It said no one ever, but you know what I mean?
The term cheese wash is just wild.
It is for sure.
No, that's cool.
But yeah, all that to say, definitely just seeing how people interact with we're only working with liquids, and there's so many limitations. It's cool to see how people can step outside of the status quo and inspire others and give people an experience.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely mirrors, I think, a lot of, I mean, part of what we do and where we look for inspiration is, I mean, we're going to cocktail bars when we're in big cities for the same reason, but to try to find inspiration in what we do with coffee. It's always a little bit harder to apply. And as we were joking earlier, it's hard not to make the drinks brown, which is, always a limitation that we're trying to But I think for us too, it's inspiring to see spaces like this because it encourages us that it doesn't have to be like in the same way that you all are doing what you do. Like we don't want to just be offering people like a latte with 5 pumps of some syrup in it, right? And so it craft cocktails give us a lot of material in terms of like seeing how creative bartenders can be with how they use their ingredients and how they present things. And so, yeah, we're stealing from that all the time.
Yeah, you should.
Right.
And I think you guys do a great job of it. Your seasonal coffee drinks are awesome. And just like totally experimental. And it's cool to see people doing that at a coffee shop. I love it. Yeah. It's inspiring.
Yeah, well, and it sounds, I think, very similar to what you all are doing. Like we're trying to lean into the team we want the team creating those things, and we have drinks where it's like they just do so well every season that we have to bring them back. There's one on right now that, for better or worse, it's a s'mores drink that for some reason got named after me, and it's a drink I would never touch in my life because I'm not a sugar person. But yeah, if you enjoy the s'morelette, marshmallow, cold foam,
it's pretty wild. Like you should actually try it. It's also not my like preference because it's like a sweetened latte.
Yeah.
But like it tastes exactly like a s'more. But like there's a temperature. It's a hot latte with a cold foam on top. So it does a weird it's a mind game when you take your first sip and second sip.
Yeah.
So it's a fun one.
There must be something to s'mores drinks because I have like a very similar experience with we have it's basically a s'mores espresso martini.
Okay.
And it's called the White Rabbit. And we put it on because we needed to fill our drink last year. And I was like, I bet you this will sell. And unfortunately, it really does. It's not my style of drink. It's too sweet for me, but like people love it and they come through for it. And so, yeah, for better or for worse, that's sticking around. In fact, it's going to be going to our Rockford location now.
Really?
So I'm going to be prepping a lot more of the s'mores ingredients.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, the fun thing we've seen, because this is a drink, it was a barista at our downtown market location when we used to be in there that had created it. But when we bring drinks back like this, we find ourselves like, because they don't stay exactly the same. Like we're always trying to improve them and like execute them slightly differently. So I'm assuming with drinks that you have on for a couple years, like it's not, is it exactly the same, or are you finding ways, like I'm assuming you guys are finding ways to tweak it, or you all are coming up with different spirits and things all the time and different ingredients so that you probably have more resources the longer something's been on too.
Definitely. Yeah. We're always trying to get it more dialed. You don't see a ton of repeats here. We always, it
either stays on or it rotates.
Yeah. And we're doing a little bit, like now that we have built up a catalog, like a pretty big catalog of drinks that we think are really worth bringing back. We'll probably still see a little bit more repeats than in the past, just because some drinks, it's like, we can't not give this back to the people. They've been asking for it all year. But yeah, certainly we're always trying to dial in the specs and improve the experience a little bit. And after you get that little break, it gives you an opportunity to do so, because like a customer is going to remember like key elements to the experience of having that cocktail. But if every year it just gets slightly better for them, that's just a big win. It doesn't matter if you're changing it ever so slightly, as long as the key elements remain in place and like what people love about it is always there.
Yeah, 100%. What is so for people that haven't been here that are listening, what is the structure of your EK's menu look like?
So we do things seasonally here. We try to stick as like regional as we can with ingredients. We definitely branch out a bit, but we do quarterly menu changes, and every menu has basically the theme of the season and local like what's growing right now. You'll see a lot of apples on the fall menu that comes out today, apples and pears and that kind of thing. But yeah, definitely seasonal, but we also try not to limit the creativity of our staff. So as bartenders are coming up with things, sometimes, like pineapple is totally out of season, but you might see like a tepache inspired use of pineapple, which is going to be like spiced with baking spice. And it totally makes it seasonal appropriate. So we try to loosely limit to seasonal and local, but we don't want anything to get in the way of like offering the best experience possible to the customer. So yeah, every 3 to 4 months we'll do a big menu change. Usually we'll sprinkle in like small changes in between to keep things exciting and new for customers who are slightly more recurring than others. But that's kind of our approach.
Nice.
Are there like parameters that bartenders have when a customer comes in and they see something that they don't like on the menu and they're like, hey, I usually go to this bar and they make me this, like, will you guys accommodate that? And like, do you give guardrails to your team of like, we'll do X or Y, but we might not do Z?
Yeah, I mean, basically the only rule as far as that goes is to the best of our abilities, we will accommodate. Yeah. It does make it challenging, like not having every ingredient imaginable at our disposal. But that's like where the creativity kind of comes up into play, and where our like amazingly talented team, you know, gets to face new challenges.
Yeah.
So yeah, we love it. We love it when people come in. I mean, as long as I'm not like in the weeds and have like 40 tickets of drinks to work through, I'm always very excited to come up with something for you based on what your kind of guidelines that you offer me. Yeah.
So if we ever get that look from you and he's in the weeds, like I'm not gonna
just order a gin and tonic.
Yeah. I'll just do water for now.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to probably maybe wrap up. What is an always on cocktail here that like people must try if they're coming to EK for the first time? And what is, if you could pick one drink on the new menu you're about to roll out, what would it be that people need to try?
Well, you're going to laugh, but I think Josiah might be able to back me up with this one.
I feel like I know your answer for the
gin and tonic. Yes. Actually, our gin and tonic is phenomenal. It's on draft. I think what sets it apart is the fact that it's on draft. So when you make yourself a gin and tonic at home, you're pouring your gin, you're topping with tonic. When you get a gin and tonic at Eastern Kille, you're having every liquid ounce of that drink is fully carbonated. So including your gin, it just makes it so much more effervescent and light. We make our own tonic, which I think is truly a phenomenal product. We add a touch of grapefruit and then express grapefruit oil over the top. And it's just really, really amazing. And I always laugh like when I tell people this, because we're a cocktail bar and people are like, what's your favorite thing to drink? Or what do you recommend? And I'm like, honestly, just the gin and tonic. It's so good. It's hard to say no. But yeah, as far as like signature cocktails go, our doctor's orders has been on the menu for years and years. And I've never, ever in 8 years, well, it hasn't been on for 8 years, but for probably 5, in the 5 years that it's been around, I've never had a customer say they didn't like it. It's like one of those drinks. It just works for everybody. It's bright, it's citrusy, ginger, honey. Our barrel finished gin, it has a spritz of lapsang tea on top, so it gives it a smoky element. It's inspired by a penicillin, which is a modern classic, that's made with scotch. So it's a gin cocktail that's light and refreshing, that you still get a little bit of smoky aroma to, and then a nice big ginger and honey kick to it.
Yeah, that's great. A really good one.
Yeah,
I like that one. I just had the thought that, and maybe you've said this to me before, so maybe it's not an original thought, but we definitely should do a menu collab sometime and do like an espresso and tonic and see if you guys would sell us some tonic.
Oh, heck yeah.
House-made tonic.
That would be so fun
to do. Because we've kind of always like, I don't know if you've like, there is a little bit of a trend with these like doing espresso and tonics, and I don't always think they're great. Part of it is I think the tonic people are using doesn't suit well to the acidity of the espresso, and depending on which coffee they use for espresso and things, like it really has to like, they have to complement each other. But when it's done well, like it's a pretty fun drink, and most probably most coffee shop customers in Grand Rapids wouldn't think of putting an espresso and tonic together, but I think it could be really cool.
Yeah, I'm so with you. Let's explore that.
Let's do that. That would be
explore
awesome.
That off camera. See what happens.
I'm down for that R&D session.
Yeah,
sign me up.
Sounds like fun. Yeah, we're gonna be like buzzing hard with the espresso, but
then we can have some cocktails later, and then it's
uppers and downers.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Man, I don't think so. This has been awesome. I really appreciate you taking time to to hang out with us and
course.
make us some fun drinks and chat.
sharing the space with us. So yeah, if you're just listening and you're not watching this on YouTube, but you should check out on YouTube so you can see the space. We tried to highlight. We arranged ourselves in such a way so that you could see the back bar. It is a beautiful space.
Feels like we're in a big city, like you said.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to be said for walking into a space and then without engaging with anyone or even looking at a menu or drink yet, you kind of know what like expectations are set already before you even, and especially at night. I mean, this spot on the street lights up and it's gorgeous. And yeah, so come to Eastern Kille and Wealthy, y'all. Also the Rockford space, very different, but like very
Stunning.
like Scandinavian in feel. Yeah, beautiful space, great food menu.
That was one of the awards I forgot to mention at the beginning. That space won an award.
They did, and I think they're about to win another one for another architect thing.
I mean,
it's
rightfully
really worth
so.
checking out.
So yeah,
Beautiful space.
worth driving out to Rockford if you're not, or
riding your bike.
Yeah, maybe you have a kid that plays club soccer and you have to be out there anyways. So that was how I experienced it for the first time. But hey, thanks again for your
Thank
time,
you guys
Josiah.
so much. This has been great.
Thanks for listening, everybody. You know where you can find us on all the listening channels, all the things. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Stay proper.